What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. I'm Michigan Sports Talk here. In this one, we give a preview to the Michigan-Oklahoma matchup, a big one on Saturday night. We go over the keys to the game, some X factors in this one, an advantage the Wolverines may have in this game, and what to expect from both these elite defenses, and also John Mateer and true freshman quarterback Bryce Underwood. We also go over what defensive line coach Lou Esposito said to the media as the defensive line prepares for a big one against Oklahoma. And that is one position group who could have a big game in this one against Oklahoma's offensive line. We go over all that and more in this video, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so big time matchup Saturday night on ABC between the number 15th ranked Wolverines going on the road to Norman, Oklahoma to take on number 18 Oklahoma. Michigan coming off a 34-17 win over New Mexico in week 1. Meanwhile, Oklahoma coming off a 35-3 win over Illinois State. Both teams breaking in new quarterbacks. Oklahoma has the transfer John Mateer from Washington State. He absolutely shined in his season opener, going 30 of 37 for 392 yards, 3 touchdowns, did have an interception. Granted, it was an FCS team out of Illinois State. And then for Michigan, obviously true freshman quarterback Bryce Underwood was magical. Went 21 of 31, 251 yards, 1 touchdown, no turnovers, had no first game jitters, and definitely did not look like a true freshman out there. But this is definitely going to be a tough road game here for the Wolverines offense, going on the road against Oklahoma, and a tough game for Bryce Underwood. You know, he could very well make mistakes in this game going up against this Oklahoma defense. I think this could be a low scoring affair here. I do think whoever dominates in the trenches should come out with a W. Now, the very first thing I'll talk about is true freshman quarterback Bryce Underwood going on the road. It is his first start on the road, obviously as a true freshman. So, you know, how will Michigan, how will Chip Lindsey get him comfortable into the game? And also, this Michigan defense going to need to help him out a little bit, especially early in the game if the offense can't get anything going. And, you know, they're going to need to help him out, let him get settled in and used to the noise. You know, he's never played in an environment like he's about to go play in Norman, Oklahoma, with how loud it's going to be. So that'll be crucial, but I think it starts up front on the offensive line here for the Wolverines. That is the position group that's going to help Bryce Underwood out the most. Obviously, Justice Haynes had a great game against New Mexico, and when you watch the Illinois State-Oklahoma game, Illinois State did not pass the ball at all in that one. They really only had success running the ball. So I think Michigan's rushing attack will definitely be crucial in this one. But this Oklahoma defense, the pass rush was outstanding against Illinois State. They're returning both starters at defensive tackle this season, and just like Michigan, they're talented. They got a lot of depth on the defensive line. Maybe their biggest weakness is at cornerback, which is pretty funny because that could be Michigan's biggest weakness right now as well, as they are young and they lack proven players there. So Brent Venables going to be throwing a lot at Bryce Underwood. He's never seen a defensive line or a scheme like he'll be going up against Saturday night, so it's going to be interesting to see how the true freshman quarterback fares against this defense. The biggest thing I think for Bryce Underwood is getting the ball out quick. We saw that against New Mexico, though. I mean, you know, his average time was around 2.2 something, I'm pretty sure. But I mean, you watch the tape, he got that ball out quickly, and you know, he was reading the defense. Granted, it was New Mexico, but he was still reading the defense well and making quick, decisive decisions with accurate throws. So that's going to be huge. And then also an X factor could finally be Underwood using his legs more in this game. I also think if the Michigan offense goes up tempo, they could find success there against Oklahoma's defense going up tempo and fast. I think that could also help Bryce Underwood, going fast and getting into a rhythm, trying to block out the noise early on. That could be very key here early on in this game. Michigan going up tempo on offense. They did do it a little bit against New Mexico, and then also Oklahoma's offense could go up tempo as well against Michigan's defense. And while we're talking about this Michigan-Oklahoma game, are you using the Sleeper app for daily fantasy football? Because if not, you're missing out. This Saturday night I'm taking Justice Haynes to rush for more than 68.5 rushing yards. He had 159 yards versus New Mexico. I think it continues. And I'm also taking John Mateer to pass for more than 232.5 yards because I don't think Oklahoma is going to have much success on the ground. I think most of the yards going to come through the air with John Mateer. So let me know what you guys think and use promo code MST and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. But let's go ahead and continue here, talk a little bit more on this Oklahoma offense. Again, we saw John Mateer, have a great game. It was against an FCS opponent. We'll see how he fares now against a Big Ten opponent like Michigan. People have compared him to Baker Mayfield. His game is similar, but according to Sooner Scoop's George Stoya, says he's a better runner than Mayfield, but not as good as a thrower. But he does have a high-level understanding of the offense and what they are asking him to do. The only thing is here, though, Mateer completed less than 50% of his total passes against the Big 12, where he went 9 of 19 against Texas Tech, and the Big 10 against Washington, where he went 17 to 34, compared to 67.5% versus all others. But the strength of the Oklahoma offense is pretty clear. It's the passing game. They got a great receiver group led by senior Deion Burks. They also have Keontez Lewis, and we saw it, in that game against Illinois State. They had 392 passing yards in that game, only 103 rushing yards, and they really did not use Jaden Ott, their star linebacker. So if Oklahoma is going to be one-dimensional in this game, I think Michigan has a great chance to win it, because going up against Wink Martindale in this defense, if they are one-dimensional and can't run the ball, good luck. Another huge thing here is it does look like Oklahoma is going to be starting 2 freshmen on the offensive line. The offensive line is a question mark for them, so Michigan's defensive line must eat in this game. So that's going to be very key for Michigan right there. I think Michigan's defense can and should take advantage of Oklahoma's offensive line. And again, the question mark for Oklahoma on offense, if they can't get any success running the football, can John Mateer put this team on his back and basically be one-dimensional in this game against Michigan's defense? I just don't think, that's going to happen, and I think Oklahoma's going to have to find some success on the ground in this game. So those are the keys to the game right there, a little preview. I think another thing that could become big is special teams. Michigan has Dominic Zavada, the best kicker in college football. He could definitely come up big here in this game, especially late in the game. Now, early on in the season, I had Oklahoma winning this game, but as we're getting closer and closer to game day here, after seeing Bryce Underwood go out there, the calmness he had, it's still going to be tough. He could make mistakes. I think John Mateer, though, is also going to make some mistakes potentially here against this Michigan defense, but I think overall Michigan is going to win in the trenches, especially their defensive line against Oklahoma's offensive line. So I got Michigan actually winning this one. I'm going Michigan 24-21 over Oklahoma, picking up a big road win over the Sooners. So let me know your guys' predictions here to this game. I do think it could go either way. I think it's going to come down again to the trenches. It's going to come down to the little details of the game and which team makes the most mistakes. But at the end of the day, I do like Michigan's matchup against Oklahoma's offensive line. And I definitely think Michigan will win the rushing battle in this game. And as long as Bryce Underwood doesn't panic, doesn't make a big mistake, I think Michigan can go into Norman and knock off the Sooners here in this one. But overall, definitely excited for this one. And again, one of the biggest X factors, in this one's going to be Michigan's defensive line. Lou Esposito actually spoke to the media yesterday. He said the defensive tackles graded out the best against New Mexico were Damon Payne and Trey Pierce. And then in the edge room, Cameron Brandt had the highest grade as well. But he said we hit the quarterback over 20 times, and I think that's what you want. You want that guy coming off the ground every play, whether it's a sack, whether it's a quarterback hit, whether it's a hurry, you want him coming off the ground, which those guys did a great job of the entire night. He did say Derek Moore got a little banged up in the opener, but he'll be good to go against Oklahoma. He's going to be a big player for Michigan in this one, I think. Obviously, Michigan also without Jashawn Barham in the first half, but Jimmy Rolder, Cole Sullivan will step up in the first half, and then Like we mentioned in yesterday's video, Deshaun Barham going to be ready to come back and F shit up in the second half. Also talked about Nate Marshall, his role moving forward. He said he came in the beginning of the summer, has been really good, just getting his body right. I think Coach Fee has been doing a good job with him, getting him right in the playbook, and he's just going to keep getting better and better. So we need more of it. They've got to get better. The more good players you have, the better shot you have at winning games. And then as far as going up against Oklahoma, quarterback John Mateer, preparing for him, he said he's tough. He's good, really good. I think the biggest thing is it's got to be all hands on deck, all eyes on him. That's the biggest thing. He compared him to Jalen Milroe. I think he throws it a little bit better than that guy, but I don't know if he's flat out as fast as Milroe, but he is like a running back. He's not like a quarterback. Most quarterbacks, when they run the ball, run unique and they don't like to get hit. He enjoys some of that contact. It's our job to help him with that. So this defensive line going to be crucial for the Wolverines here in this win against Oklahoma. So absolutely cannot wait for this matchup against Oklahoma on Saturday night. Going to be a fun one to watch. But with that, that's going to wrap up this video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure to go ahead, drop a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more. If you are new around here, I greatly appreciate it. And other than that, we will see you guys in the next video. Go Blue.